So you've been collecting feedback using your Microsoft Forms Pro surveys, and you'll have been able to come in to the survey itself and you can see the responses you've got and you can drill through and look at the question responses. That's great. However, you're going to have people within your organisation that aren't necessarily going to have access to Forms Pro, but need to be able to review the feedback that they're getting from surveys. For example, you're going to have a customer services manager. So if you're using Forms Pro to get feedback once a case is closed, they will want to be able to delve in and look at that feedback and then action it and follow back up with customers as needed. So what we can do is we can go ahead and we can jump into Power Apps. So you can go to web.powerapps.com. If you've never created a Power App before, don't worry, because once you see how simple this is, and you'll actually see how familiar it is once you get into it, hopefully it should be pretty straightforward. So we've got Canvas apps and we've got model driven apps. So we're going to create a model driven app, and essentially what this is going to be doing is it's going to be creating an app that you should be familiar with if you're using the most recent up-to-date UI for Dynamics 365 Customer Engagement. So we said we want to create a model-driven app from blank, and we'll go ahead and click Create. And now we're taken into the start of the App Designer wizard. So I'm going to give this a name. I'm going to call this Customer Support Feedback. You can call it whatever you want. Well, I'm just going to use the default image. You can obviously create and upload new images. We're just going to use that one. You can also start from an existing solution to create the app. Again, I'm going to be doing this from blank. So I'm going to go ahead and click Done. Once this has completed, it's going to take us on to the next step where we're actually going to be picking the entities that we want to add to this specific app. So I'm going to go into the Entities artifact. And from here, what I want to do is I'm going to have accounts, I'm going to have contacts, and I'm also going to have cases. So I'm just going to create something fairly straightforward to start with, just so you can see how we're going to add in those survey entities, so the stuff that's coming in from Forms Pro. So we've got all of those three in there for now. So just saving that to start with. So we've got those three. Those are the standard, or three of the standard default entities. Now what I want to do is I want to go to find all of the survey related entities. Now I know that the prefix for those entities is MSFP, so Microsoft Forms Pro. So if I just type that in rather than trying to search for the entities, because at the start you're not going to know what those entity names are, so we're just going to go ahead and we'll click to add all of these entities. Okay, so now we can see them all listed there. Now obviously you would be adding this either to an existing app, or you might have other entities you want to put in here, but for now this is what we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and save that again. And you can see here we've got the sitemap, the configuration is missing. And that's because we haven't set anything up in terms of how that navigation is going to go. How do we want this to look? So I'm going to go ahead and click on the pencil icon to edit this. And again, if you have done any kind of work as a system administrator, you should be very familiar with this in terms of how to edit and set up your sitemap. So it shouldn't be something that's too strange. All right, so we've got new area, new group, new sub area, which come up by default. Now what I want to do is I'm going to have my area is going to be called Customer Services, and the group is going to be Customers, and the first item we're going to have is Accounts, and then we'll go ahead and add another sub area and we'll put in the Contacts. And we'll have one last one in here, and this will be for the cases. All right, so then we'll go ahead and we'll add in another group, and this one will be for the surveys. Okay, now here, even though we've already put those survey entities into the app, unfortunately at this point we cannot search using MSFP. It won't work there. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to put in survey, and then from here we're going to have to find those same survey entities. Now, depending on the environment you have, most likely you Either it will have been installed automatically or you would have installed it depending on at what point your instance was created, but you'll have two surveys. One will be for the voice of the customer and one will be for your Microsoft Forms Pro surveys. So I believe it is the second one, but we're going to go with that one and then we'll have a look and see. So I'm going to add my next one. Survey is going to be survey activity. And then we'll go for the next one, and that will be email templates. All right, so we'll go ahead and leave it at that. I'll go ahead and I will save that. I will then publish. We'll publish. And let's go ahead and click play. So now we're actually opening up our app. Okay, so now what we can see is we've got all of the survey entities down here on the left hand side. We can see that actually only one of them has a nice little icon. We'll look at that in another video as to how you can get those in there. But we can see we've got surveys, we've got survey email templates, survey invites, survey items, questions, question responses, and responses. So that is how you will get your entities into an app, into your Dynamics 365 for customer engagement environment, where you can either put those entities into an app that you're already using, or you can go ahead and create a brand new one. You can obviously put those wherever you need to. So hopefully that helps. You can see how to set up an app and add in those Microsoft Forms Pro entities.
Hi, I'm Megan Walker. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and that you learned something from it. If you don't want to miss out on any other content, you can go ahead and click on my face below to subscribe. And if you want to watch the next video, you can do that by clicking over here and go ahead and get started. Thanks again.